Hey guys, this is Eddie here, and in this video I want to show you how to calculate your total level score and your total episode score accurately. For those of you that don't know what I mean, the total level score is the sum of all your level scores, and the same goes for the total episode score. Now in INE we already have a function for that. It's called total score, so I can say total level score, and it's going to tell me what it is. And I can also say total intro level score, and it tells me what it is. But the problem is, with the high scoring bot, we can only know the high scores. And obviously, basically what this means is that the total level score is pretty useless because it's only really going to include the scores that are high scores, not the rest. So this is not really going to encourage overall competition. It's basically equivalent to just high scoring. So how to do it accurately? Well, I've devised a way, and I want to share it with you guys now. So basically, this is a Ruby script. If you take your end profile, which contains the scores stored locally, you put them both on the same folder, and then just go ahead and execute it. And there are several arguments that you can use. For instance, scores. And if I do that, you can see that it will tell me my total level score and my total episode score in each tab, as well as the totals. But here's the thing, the end profile is a bit chaotic, and not everything gets saved perfectly, as we all know. So you can see, for instance, okay, I haven't beaten all the secret levels, but what about intro? I have beaten all levels, and yet only 117 of them have scores. So what's the problem here? Well, the problem is, as I said, not everything gets perfectly saved in the local save file. So this wouldn't be accurate. It would probably be much more accurate than what the bot says, unless you have a lot of high scores, right? Because you're going to be missing a few scores here, but at least it's including most of them. But still, it's not fully accurate. And for that reason, I've done a function which is called patch. When you use the patch command, what it's going to do is it's going to correct these ones that you're missing by going into the server, MetaNet server, and actually downloading the scores. So because your scores, even if they're not high scores, you can actually retrieve them from the server. So obviously you're going to need your Steam ID, which I have over here conveniently, and you're going to have to open M++, or to have opened it recently, otherwise it's not going to be active. And if that happens, there's no problem. The program will just tell you. But I opened it pretty recently, so this is going to work. And as you can see, it's patching the scores that I was missing. 36, okay, well, as you can see, I'm missing 4 here, 14 here, 9 here, 8 here, and I think 1 here. So that probably adds up to 36. And then 8 episodes that I'm missing. 3 plus 5. All right, so it's been patched. Let's go ahead and check the scores again. You can see they are much better. Intro, Ultimate, and Legacy is including all the scores. So this is a very accurate. Notice I don't say perfectly accurate because there's still something that I'm going to say in a second. But these are very accurate now. I'm still clearly missing. I'm missing 6 here, and I'm missing an episode in here. I've made another function called summary. This function basically, it finds erroneous scores. So when you have a level that you've completed but you don't have a score, that's a problem. And those are the ones that we're missing here, right? So these levels, the program is detecting that you beat it, and there are several ways to do that. There are triggers. You can see whether you've collected gold or not. There are a bunch of ways that you can do it. And it's detecting that I'm missing 6 levels and 1 episode, the ones that we talked about, that I have a score. I mean, I did beat them, but they don't have a score. But we've already patched. So what's the problem? Well, basically, you can use the list command to see which ones they are. And as it happens, this one, I just simply don't have a score on them on the server, nor locally. So these are probably levels that I beat when the game was released, and level submission was not available, and then I've never actually high scored them again. So for whatever reason, I don't have scores in the leaderboards in the server, and also not locally. So obviously, if you don't have a score anywhere, then there's nothing you can do. You cannot patch anything. You're just going to have to complete them again. And the same goes for this episode. This one is the ultimate episode that is broken. That's why I don't have a score on the server. I don't know why I don't have a score locally, but the only way to correct this ones is to beat them again. But just to finish it off, I want to mention something else. I said that this was pretty accurate, but possibly not perfect. And that's because now we know that all the scores are being counted, but are they accurate? Well, the thing is that just like a score can possibly be missed and not be saved locally, that can also happen when you already have a score. So it's possible that you improve a score that gets sent to the server, but it's not stored locally. So usually what you have here is a lower bound, because a few improvements might not have been registered. So in order to fix that, I've implemented another one that's going to work differently. Instead of patching, it's going to be patch full. And instead of patching the incorrect ones, this is going to patch all of them, so that any discrepancy between the local version and the server is also corrected. Now, of course, that's a bunch of levels, so I think I have provided the possibility of selecting the tab. And you can see, I think I need to correct this total over here, but it's only going to do the first 125, which are the intro ones. But as you can see, it's basically going to patch all the levels. So what is the idea behind this? Well, the idea that I have with this function is the following one. I've always found from my years of experience in N that the total level score and the total episode score are very, very fun competition, and they encourage improvement a lot, because you don't necessarily need to get high scores. Basically, this is about summing all your scores, whether they are high scores or not, adding all of them up, and improve there. And you can improve by improving any level that you want. So basically, the idea is consistency and getting better in all the levels. It's not so much about high scoring, although it's closely related, but it's more about overall dedication and just overall how good your scores in total or in a certain tab are. For instance, I don't know, like beating 14,000 in intro, that could be a good milestone. But obviously, you can't know that if you're only including the high scores, unless you have all the high scores, right? But with this thing, you can actually know it. So competition in total level scores and episode, total level score rankings and total episode score rankings, I think would be very interesting. I always had a lot of fun with them in N, and I really wanted to bring them back here. Anyway, this has finished. So let's go ahead and check the scores now, see if they improved. And you can see they did improve. I had, before the full patch, this was already including all 125 levels, but I had 14,382. Now I have 14,384. So a few scores have been updated to this local save file. And I can say pretty confidently, this is probably, with absolute precision, my total level score in intro, unless something has been missed. And then you could do the same with the others. So what's the idea? Well, I would be very interested in elaborating official rankings, right? And it's basically start a competition. And, as long as you have completed a tab and you have all 600 scores, this competition is going to make a lot of sense. You can keep improving seconds by cleaning levels. It doesn't have to be a high score, just basically improve your scores. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So in order to participate, what you have to do is you just download the script, put it in the same folder than the end profile, with this name, by the way. And then you're probably going to want to patch the scores. Or if you want to get an even more precise measurement, you could do a patch full and patch everything. Don't do it very often, because we don't want to overload the servers, but that way you would get very accurate readings of what your total scores are. This checksum basically includes all this information, basically. So the reason that I've added it is so that all you have to do is copy this and tell it to me, all or to Aude if I end up implementing it there, right? So just you just give me this string, and then from this I deduce these things and I introduce them to the database, and we start making official rankings right away. I knew a few other people were interested in it, and I think it could be quite a lot of fun. By the way, if you're using this on Windows and you don't have the possibility of using arguments, you can just execute the script and introduce the command here. If the command is help, it will tell you what commands you have available. And in particular, if you use the list command again, after you patch, you calculate the scores, you see which ones you're missing, right? Oh, so this 6, I should have them. I don't have them. Why is that? You can use the list command, and it's going to tell you which ones they are, so that you can go ahead and actually get a score and complete your scores here, so that you can actually have a better total score. Okay. Now, I don't have to say this, but obviously make sure that you back the save file before you patch it, because this is actually modifying the save file. And if you're not if you're not comfortable playing over the patch save file, you don't have to do it. Just make sure you just make a copy and patch that one. There should be no problem with what I'm doing. This is not going to corrupt the save file in any way, but still, if you're not comfortable, just do it on a copy. All right. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the Discord, and I look forward to seeing competition and seeing the total level scores of many of you, so we can make some pretty good rankings. See ya.